we get busy for you. Say you little kids so busy. Then I shoot. Busy. Get it. Around to a limit. Remind you of the side when I'm in it. We on cloud now for a minute. Am I your style and your physique? And I ain't trying to critique, but you deserve a good drink. So what's up? What you sipping on? It's no problem. Black and gold bottles like a pro. New Orleans. But shawty, I'm far from the same. But I got two A-messes that look the same way. Wale, DC, that's me, huh? I'm proud to say Prada and they proud to say Fila. I ain't gotta tell you, they know about me, huh? So come to DC and I can make you a believer. See, baby, I'm a leader. They away from a Libra. And I ain't trying to lead you wrong, sugar, I need ya. So would you please listen to what I'ma need from you? Live for tonight before tomorrow's hell. Yes, you are the greatest. Pretty girl, them with them pretty faces. Get naked. Woman, yes, I need you every day. I got to it's the pretty girls. That's what I want. When I'm laughing, I'm the pretty girls. That's what I need. Yeah, got it. Yeah, I'm the pretty girls. That's what I want. It's awesome. Yes, I'm the pretty girls. That's what I need. Pretty girls out there. DMV, Shot-Town, where my city's at. Yo, I'm a sucker for a pretty little kitty cat. See now, mommy, make a big owl. Tops off top like a freestyle. Speed it up, start very slowly. She on the ball like karaoke, and she barely know me. Wildin' out, getting O to the C. Y'all know where I be, bungalow by the sea. I mean, literally, south coast of Italy. They telling me my money's no good here. Silly me, in those jeans, precious cargo. Keys open doors for her key largo. She on point, but she hard to guard, so I'm being forward, just playing my part though. My God, yo, I got her all alone with the full court press, cause she got me in the zone. She want the greatest. Pretty girl, them with them pretty faces. Get naked. Woman, yes, I need you every day. I got to it's the pretty girls. That's what I want. When I'm laughing, I'm the pretty girls. That's what I need. Yeah, got it. Yeah, I'm the pretty girls. That's what I want. It's awesome. Yes, I'm the pretty girls. That's what I need. California gals, Caribbean gals, them just a come so special. Maybe Jamaican honeys, them DC honeys, Floridian gals, them nationwide make me money. The Asian beauties, me Rican beauties, all of it mess girl. Shake up them booties and me can't forget me Chilean Caribbean beauties. The whites in the it's the pretty girls, that's what I want. When I'm laughing, I'm the pretty girls, that's what I need. Yeah, got it. Ideologists on the beat. Oddisee, solstice. Yeah, it goes beats to rounds, round the beats, crown the streets like I'm the beats. Dope keep police busy, being dope keeps me afloat. Getting soaked, ain't running with me. Well, as bold as a statement that was. If I don't believe it, I'm achieving backwards. And I ain't retro, past I let go. I move to the future like I'm fueled by petrol. Let's go, take it up another notch. Move from the south side to the upper blocks. Keep the haters outside, let the suckers watch. Haters serve better aspects, haters ready to expect. They make paper, they make capers. Try to take it from you, but when they see you in the streets, the job fake in front you. Like it's all cool, like we all cool. Fake make you fake, I see y'all move. And
and that be the business soul, and that be the business SB. The story been told, but not this recipe, so let it unfold. Sit back and let me, and that be the business soul, and that be the business SB. The story been told, but not this recipe, so let it unfold. Sit back and let me.
Midwest, midnight, cold air, take a breath, can't share your success, so they stare and they stress. These two are the best. Here I suggest when I'm right there in my chest, there in the flesh, I move 24, sleep on my deathbed. Pin bars, memoirs like an ex-pred. See what Simon says, y'all accept it. I stand tall on raw records, y'all check it. Underground to the upper floors, that's right, y'all know what we coming for. All night raw shows to them summer sores. On foreign shores, rush through that next door, explore. That's like time go by quickly. Be more the shy, who gon' fly with me? My soul in the store, go by 50. Put it down, let you know my history. And that be the business, oh yeah. And that be the business, SB. Story been told, yeah. But not this receipt, so let it unfold. And just let me. And that be the business, oh yeah. And that be the business, SB. Story been told, yeah. But not this receipt, so let it unfold. And just let me unfold. Let the parchment unroll. I bought a house, no apartment control. Move more fronts, more blunts and guns sold. Shorty got AIDS at just 4 months old. Go to war, both sides equal, neither holier. We provoking her deep thoughts to keep you open to what the media don't show. The deeper phobia, DC to Ethiopia to keep the hope in ya. Back to Belgium, the facts are seldom seen. Time's fabric, I felt the seams. This picture perfect when I see it, can't wait to paint it. And let face landscape translate the language. It might make me famous or they might forget about it. I used to sit and doubt it, now I got to spit about it. See, hip-hop made me a fan, living this here made me a man, understand?
And that be the business soul, and that be the business SB. Story been told, but not this recipe, so let it unfold. Sit back and let me.
And that be the business, oh, and that be the business SB. Story been told, but not this recipe, so let it unfold. And just let me.
I wonder why I follow you. We ain't really friends, just pretend. If these walls came down, better pants would follow suit. You know you got a man, but then again, I only know because the message that you wrote and I responded to. I'm digging you and it's more than just physical. Can't describe it in written form, all I know is I'm fond of you. And if I had a chance, I would take it. I know your feelings are tasting, so quit your faking. You want it too. Let's rendezvous with you, man, in the city. Let's grab some coffee, you with it. Then it's a date and we on it too. Damn it, I didn't plan it, you make it. This vantage point is the greatest. I'ma embrace it, this form of group. Living within the moment, dismissing patience, since it's filled it. We break it, no delaying, we overdue. I'm holding you, getting me is where you should be. I want you, you want it too. Let's just do what we gonna do. We've been dating now for a while, it's serious, so we pals with agreements to come around when the sun is down. Another moon in my room gets to say through it soon you out. When the sun is back, you be back for another round. I work from home, I'm around, I ain't doing shit except for you and some music. Girl, you my muse, you another sound. Light of it, love it, we ain't rushing on a discussion on what we gotta do, but we shut it down. We only human, what we doing, gotta end it. For now we pretending that it don't, so let's fuck around. Let it hit the fan so we can't stand each other. One of us fall in love and we don't want it now. We do it in the moment, fully knowing this ain't cool, but we fools for each other, so it's something now. good while it lasted. Turn my bed into a casino. Longer undercovers, now we underground.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good to have you guys back on the... Oh boy, what did that happen? So good to have you back. Hope everyone's enjoying their evening. Got our third guest for the event that should have all happened during spring break last week, but happy she made some time for us in the schedule. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pop her in here on the Zoom meeting. So hopefully there's no technical difficulties here. Hello. All right. See if I give her a ring. Admit. All right. Hello. Hey Tony, how's it going?
Good. Let me turn my camera on.
Yeah. So for me, for the life of me, I can't figure out why Zoom doesn't let me turn my camera on while OBS is running. But like if you like what I do, I put my cell phone on YouTube, so like everyone's gonna see like my face speaking with you.
Okay.
But you're not gonna, like, you're just talking to a black screen, but like to everyone else, they see my face talking with you.
Everyone can see me. You can see and hear me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's the important part.
Okay.
So thanks for making time, and I know it was a little bit chaotic at first, but glad to have you here. And it's been a pretty eventful week, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So just to start off, I'm gonna do something a little bit different versus my last two guests that I had, where I start off, chit chatting about the channel and whatnot. And so obviously from the flyer, and a lot of people wrote me about your background, and I thought it was pretty funny how people were losing their marbles about me talking to a relationship coach / sex coach. Rather than me get right into the meat and potatoes that I wanted to talk about, I wanted to not deep dive, but ask a kind of surface level question about your experience as a relationship coach, as far as it, like, in general with your clients and the people that reach out to you for help. If you could tell me if there's any common denominators in general that you noticed about them. So, for example, like maybe 3 out of the last 5 people you spoke with are shy. Does that make sense?
Kind of. Kind of. I mean, all of the clients that I have seen, no one's ever the same. They may come to me, for sex education, sexual guidance, to enhance their intimacy, build up better communication with their partner or future partners, and just try to heighten their sex life. That's the queen of the filthiness, so that's what I'm here to do. But no one's ever the same. Usually, just like I said, they start out the same, but when you get to the roots of their issue, it's never the same. It's always different, and how you choose to analyze it and fix it is never the same. So that's why I love what I do, because it's always something interesting and exciting. And,
I can imagine.
yeah.
So
it's never boring, like the typical office job, like, hello, how are you? How can I direct your call? Like, no.
I do work your typical office job, and it's probably the reason why I'm balding so fast. But which is why I have this as a hobby. But so something I picked up in your explanation, and so maybe if you can expunge on it. You said that they start off the same, but then obviously as you get to know them and what they're looking for, then things start to evolve from there. And so I guess that's what I really mean. So what do you mean by things start off the same?
So it's like if someone comes to me to have better communication with their partner, and they say that like, oh, my partner doesn't communicate with me for XYZ reason, which is a typical everyday issue. And you have to get to the root of why do you feel that they're not communicating accurately, or maybe you're not communicating accurately. Maybe you're the problem. And a lot of people don't think it's them that doesn't know how to communicate.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like reverse the tables on them, and then it's like, oh no, but I do this and I do that, and it's like, well, not really. So, like there's a better way. It's not just my way. It's just a logical way of doing things. So that's usually what I mean. That it starts out the same issue. Like I want to, be better in different, like, and heighten my sexual experience. How do I do that? And it's like, okay, what are you exactly trying to do? What is your partner trying to do? And, some people are so into trying big things, like, let's just say, like BDSM. And it's like, they don't even know the first thing about BDSM. And it's like, why you want to get into that? Just because you saw it on TV? Like maybe you heard some of your friends talking about it. You actually have to do heavy research on it, and they come to me to try and to give them basically the shortcut of the research.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's some pretty spicy stuff right there. I mean, Jesus. So I like how you're bringing up communication. I'm gonna share a receipt. I put that in air quotes. Later on, and I think it's probably the focal point of what you're talking about right now. And so I'm going to kind of interject some of my experience here, where typically I think sometimes, and of course I'm speaking from my own anecdotal experience, I think typically sometimes there's a hard time with me when I'm in the getting to know you phase with a woman. When I see that there's a breakdown in communication, I often note that they're having a hard time with how honest they want to be about what they're looking for. And so could you relate to that? Does that sound like something like that's off the mark from your experience?
Personally, even professionally, if you're on the first date, I feel like you should always come out honest, because it's like, why are you wasting somebody else's time? If you're looking for something specific, let that other person know. Maybe they're not into that. Cut all ties from right there. Don't be continuing dating this person if they're not even interested in what you're interested in. So let's lay it all on the table. If you're
I'm
coming
all
to my
about that.
potluck with certain things, and if I already have it, it's like, what was the point of you bringing that? I got that already.
I'm all about that, and I think that's very interesting. How I'm gonna say direct. Maybe you use a different word for what you're explaining right now, but it's interesting because the lady Terry, wonderful person, but she had her reservations about being direct, and then so I think, and this is where I'm gonna segue into the channel and the purpose of the channel. So I started this channel obviously to speak on my own experiences about how outrageous date life is, and other things that probably might get me in trouble with my day job. But overall, is because I know, and I won't get too deep into it, at least here, that I noticed my other male counterparts, even when I was in the Marines, and even here now as a regular human being now, that men in general kind of struggle with these kind of emotional swings of like dealing with women. So my single friends, their issues are really not so unique. There's a lot of common denominators, and then my friends that are not single, that's where things are different, because obviously they've been with their partners and X, Y, and Z, but it's still, there's still kind of like this overlap and blend about like, is there direction? Hence why I named the channel Fighting the Enemy, is just a fancy word for lack of direction, right? Like, we're not being direct, there's no plan. It's just kind of like all in the air, and oh yeah, let's be spontaneous, and yeah, I don't do that. And so
So why can't we? It's like there's no specific rule book.
The context, and this is why generally I like to speak first, but I want to do it backwards this time. The context here is that I'm not talking about like dating in general. I'm talking about like finding the one and being done, right? Like, I just want to find me a good lady, wifey material, and get out of the dating scene. So never, and I still won't ever, in any of my videos, and there's not that many of them, do I ever talk about, yeah, this is pickup game 101 or how to pick. Like, no, I don't do that. Like, I'm not even interested in that stuff, and that's not what we're here to talk about, or anything like that. If you trying to run game for one night stands, wrong channel. Go somewhere else, guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not it's not here. And so when you now that we have the scope of it, now when you think of things in that way, some of the common denominators that I consistently bumped into in my many years of being single, my single career, is this thing that I call hidden, HIDDEN, and it stands for hedonism, immaturity, double standards, delusional, elitism, and narcissism. And I know that sounds very pessimistic, and is not meant to be pessimistic. Is that generally when I see one of these elements, it's like it comes in a basket. There's 2 or 3 of them come right along with it, and then from there, and this is typically these things I pick up in the first 2 or 3 weeks of getting to know someone and seeing how they reciprocate or not reciprocate their interests, and then it's like, okay, so this is where things start to go downhill, and just from saying those things in general right there, do I sound like I'm off the mark? Am I angry, jaded, and disheveled? What's going through your mind?
No, not really. I would say it's a little bit, like the last letter, a little narcissistic, in a sense. But I see, the agenda for it, but I'm not gonna lie, it's something little narcissistic in a sense.
At least you're honest.
It's just because everyone's, experience is different. So, it's like some people will say like, oh, it sounds like you're bitter. So,
right. I've been told that before.
Yeah, it could be a a little bit of that, but it's how you choose to how you still like handle it, how you choose to disclose it, and channel it in your own way.
Right. So by no means, by no stretch of imagination, do I bring this up when I want to approach a lady and get to know her. I'm just saying this just for I'm just saying this for the purposes of the channel and
like you think in the back of your head, like, okay, oh, you're like this, you're like that, you're like this, you're like that. And it's like you shouldn't even go into no dating scene in that type of mindset. You always have to go
exactly.
With an open frame, regardless if your last date was like the day of hell. But it's just like you never know next person is going to be like they may get 2 dates, they may get 5, you never know. So it's always good to go in there with an open mind instead of like, here's my checklist of narcissism, bitch. Like, it's like, I don't want that.
Well,
so,
I
you know what I mean?
I thought that was a little bit funny. I'm sorry, but so I meant to follow up. Yeah, I have my little notes here. That's why I keep looking down, even though you don't see me looking down. But so just to be a little bit more specific, right? So something that is so ubiquitous, and I really blame Airbnb, but something that I almost all the time run into is what I call travel girls, right? And
oh, this is new. I never heard that one. Okay.
yeah, I randomly just made that up because I think it sounds funny. That's why, and that's because
something that's going around.
Well, this has been happening for a while, and I think it's because of Airbnb. I haven't really looked up into it that in depth, but that would be my educated guess. And what I mean by that is most women that I bump into, and I have a little story about something that happened last night, and but most women that I bump into, and they always bring up this thing about traveling. They ask me how often do I travel, and I generally try to get out of that subject as soon as possible because I think it and particularly it gets pretty boring because like I barely know the person, so like what am I gonna talk to you about and my time's being out and about, but. Two, also, I think it's pretty pretentious, right? Because how often does the average person travel? And then so when they do go into that subject, I'll say, well, how often do you go, like, out of state, out of the country? And for pre-COVID purposes, they'll tell me, once every other month, once a quarter, something like that. And then I just start thinking, like, all right, like, is either your money's long like that or you just got that mommy-daddy money. And so from there, I just try to see, is this something that you're going to try to impose? And in my experiences, I have had women say, hey, we're not going to have this relationship or this isn't going to go forward unless you're willing to travel 4 times, out of the year or whatever the case may be, right? It doesn't matter what the increment is that they issue this ultimatum about, hey, it's either this way or no way. And so, like... Maybe this is far of a stretch from your experience, but does that sound like something that's around in your circle?
No, I mean I've never heard this. I mean, it's very rare that I've heard that, so it's actually kind of new to me to hear that first the term, and like I mean. That's not something I usually would ask. Like, how often do you travel? Like, why do I give a shit how much you travel? Like, why is that something relevant to me?
I'm not making this up.
No, the only reason why I would ask the question personally is if, like, you're one of those CEO big baller types and it's like you're always traveling for work, depending on your type of job. That's the only reason I would ask such a question. If you're a regular type person, I'm not asking you that. I don't care how much you travel. You ain't nobody to be traveling somewhere unless you told me that you're somebody. I mean, that's just like, why is that even a question? And honestly, that shouldn't even be one of your top 10 questions you're asking somebody, unless depending on their job or even your job.
Right. Well, I appreciate the honesty.
The question.
Well, I'll follow up with this, and I guess this is meant for you. I guess just to answer in general, not to be like specific to you. But like, let's say you had to give some advice to women, would that be something you would prescribe and say, be like, oh yeah, you know, ask if he likes to travel, or ask to see if he could even afford to do that. Does that sound like good advice to prescribe?
On the first date, no. Uh, you're gonna sound like a gold digger. Like, why? You want me to book a trip? Like, where you trying? Like, that's not a first date question. No, unless depending on your job, unless you travel a lot, or if he travels, if you know because of his job he travels a lot. But if you're regular people that stay in your state or area for your everyday job, that is not a question you need to be asking. It could be a question like, oh, do you like to travel? Do you want to travel? Because I want to go X, Y, Z places. But not on the first date, no. Maybe like after a couple of dates of me getting to know you. Maybe like third date.
Sure, I agree with that. I think that's extremely fair. I mean, just like every other human being, I love going away from from my job. Like, who doesn't? I can't think of one human being that.
If I had the money, I'll be everywhere right now. I wouldn't even be home.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be talking to me either.
Right now. No, I want to be right now. But I'm a regular, so I gotta be home. It's not in my job description to travel.
So typically, I just and as I mentioned in the channel, I never got super deep into it and dedicated a video to it. Not yet. So there you go, viewers. Now you know what to expect in the future. But it's typically a yellow flag, because it's like, that's like me asking you, like, hey, do you like to eat? How many times you eat out in the day, right? Like come on, like, who? I don't want to use bad words, but like, who the fuck doesn't, right? Like,
some people more than others. I know I do. Like, my heart, like, you want to eat? Hell yeah, where we going? Like,
well, I'm not gonna lie. Ever since I finished that half marathon, I've been forget about it, man. I have gummy bears here. I have everything. So like, I've been nuts.
Love me some food, okay? Like, that is the way to get me. Like, you would call me and text me like, yo, babe, you want to eat? I said, oh, obviously, what type of question is that? The hell? Obviously, I could eat. I don't care if I just ate like 20 minutes ago. I can still eat. Where are we going? And if you dare tell me some basic restaurant, I'm like, no. Go get it and bring it.
I put it, well, that makes me think. So, again, in the getting to know you phase, and let's just assume the person is telling you, hey, they're looking for something serious and excuse me, long-term committed. What in general, like, what are like the top 4 things you look for that's like make it or break it for you?
What do you mean? Me personally? What do you mean?
Like what are the signs that you look for in a person to know if you want to continue speaking with them, pursuing them, or like what? And I'm not trying to be too, personally, but you can feel free to speak in general too. I don't want to feel like I'm prying into your life.
I'm an open book. Me personally, I go off on very good, strong vibe and connection. So, and I'm obviously, like, in this profession that I'm in, I'm a big talker. I can talk a lot. So your communication needs to be A1. It doesn't need to be as high as mine, but you need to be able to hold the conversation and have a conversation. That's for sure something I look for. I need someone that's going to meet me on an emotional, mental level, because if I'm talking to you, if I engage in a conversation with you, period, I already sense a sexual vibe regardless of whatever it is or wherever it goes. I sense it. There's no reason I'm talking to you. If you were ugly, I wouldn't engage in no conversation. So off rip, I'm like, yeah, I can see something with you. So, but let's see how deeper you can get with me. That's how fast the legs will spread. So, communication is great. If I feel like I'm emotionally and mentally connected to you, the way how you communicate, the way how you, carry yourself. If your ambition and you have good drive and, you got to have good job. I'm sorry if that sounds like gold digger tendencies, but it's really not. You need to have a good, stable job. Stable.
Absolutely.
Job. Because men would want a woman to work, but then it's like, oh, I lost my job, and then you just sit on your ass. I'm like, who do you think?
Yeah, that's no good. We don't do that here.
I don't think so. Now, it's like if I'm already dating you and you lose your job, obviously I'm going to hold you down. But there's that holding down period, there's a certain length.
Of course. You're not going to.
So it's like, am I seeing some initiative that you're attempting to look for another job? And if not, I'm just going to cut you off. I don't even care.
Absolutely. I agree with that. You should. You should. Ain't nothing in this world free.
Emotional, mental connection, good sense. You have a great sense of humor because I say a lot of things. So
Thank you.
You gotta just laugh at the shit that I say.
If you can see me, I'm blushing. Except maybe I wouldn't be blushing because I have a lot of facial hair, so you probably wouldn't see it. But
and you just gotta be able to tame a woman like me. I'm a little crazy. And I'm real crazy, so my temper is a little high. So you got to be able to tame a woman like me. So if you can't do all of that, that means you just can't be with me, and that's not a bad thing. Not everyone's meant to be around you. That's just what
true.
it is. I'm not meant for the weak. I'm meant for the strong will. So and that goes for my friendships. They know me. Like they're like, oh, Toni too crazy. Like I don't know where the things that comes out of her mouth is like for real. It's like word vomit. It just comes to my brain and comes out my mouth. So you just got to be able to handle that. And I say everything loud and in charge and in public. I don't say that in closed doors. If I say I want to stuff you off in a restaurant, you got to be like, here, let's go.
Hey, I appreciate the honesty. That's exactly what I've been looking for. So, unfortunately, I don't think I got too much of it with the last two. So not to undermine them or talk down on them, but I typically enjoy when.
Real raunchy. I'm sorry. I'm real raunchy.
Well, I wouldn't even call it raunchy.
The queen of the filthiness. That's just.
Well, that's raunchy. That's raunchy.
I love it.
So I have a lot of Christian friends, and they're all like, Jesus Christ, like. So they're probably praying for us right now, but.
No, it's like when you're with me, you're in good hands. Like nothing bad will happen to you. It's just like, listen, if you better wear the Lord on your heart because listen, the devil comes through the mouth.
Oh my God, and brown Jesus I trust. So, so I actually want to share. This is. I hope this doesn't strike a nerve. I was thinking really hard about because in most of the videos I share like real personal experiences that happen with me, and then like I have this philosophical talk about it, and then I get practical, right? And then so I never showed this one before on any of the videos. I was sharing this one. I intended to share this one in the future when I start talking about women that
Emotional damage.
right like that I think shouldn't be out here dating because there's more jade than there should be, and so I'm not gonna get super deep into it. I'm gonna pull up the screen share on Zoom.
Okay.
I just wanted to get like your opinion about what this person is saying, and then of course I'm going to give you the context. Obviously their identity's been completely scratched out, so we don't do that here. I'm not setting myself up for defamation, but
So I'll be able to see it, right?
yeah, you should let me know if you should like see a screenshot.
Yeah, I do.
All right, so okay, hold on, this is not.
Am I supposed to read it or?
No. I'm just gonna go over very specific stuff.
Okay.
I don't want my mouth to get dry from reading, but All right. So just to give some quick context, right? I don't give any free plugs to any of these dating apps. So I like using dating apps because it's just easier to talk about a scenario. Because it's just all written down and it helps me remember things. And then more importantly, it doesn't make me seem like I'm full of shit and I'm just making up a story out of nowhere, right? Two, I don't know what this is, and I might bring it up down the road in a later video. But for some reason, people think that the things that happen in dating apps don't happen in person, and so maybe not as often, maybe not exactly the same way, but it certainly does. And so now I'll get into this specific scenario. This person wrote me, I think maybe an hour or two after I got out of work, and this was a super fast scenario. It was less than an hour. I was like, yeah, I'm not writing this person anymore. And so this was not more than a day. This was literally all in 1 hour or two. And they asked me yeah, so I asked that message that's on the bottom, what do you bring to the table? That was just glitched. I wasn't writing them that. That got stuck there. And so I was like, I don't, you're going to keep seeing that, but ignore that. So they wrote to me. I asked them, what are you looking for? Because I typically ask people, after messaging them back and forth for a little bit, I asked them, how's your experience been in this app? Do you like it? What are you looking for? I just asked that real casually. And they wrote, I'm looking for my life partner. However, I am very particular about what I need and want. So what do you bring to the table? So I answer that. A lot of these messages are just answering stuff she wrote before. And then so when I answered her question right here, I said what I said. I was like, as a man who focuses his legacy and family, what I bring is what I plan to have: a home, peace, stability, my personal professional network. I cook, I can tutor and mentor, and I am capable of defending my loved ones because I still train in martial arts. Then I wrote them, they asked me, so I guess I asked them, what do you bring to the table? And so she responded, but I can do all that myself. So how would that elevate or benefit me in any way? And then, so, right, yeah. No, I was doing exactly what you was doing when they said that this meeting will end in 10 minutes. What? So out of all, Zoom didn't say that the last two. Zoom's playing games. So I guess you gotta wrap up in 10 minutes. But you didn't do that the last two calls. Zoom, I'm writing complaints to you.
Zoom, why you playing with me?
For real. Well, exactly. I get the real talk, the spicy talk, and then now they want to throw in the book. That's bullshit. Alright, so I'm writing a complaint to them. But anyways, so I mean, what do you think? Okay, let me say that with a serious face. What do you think about that?
I'm not gonna lie, personally, that sounds like something I would say. What makes you stand out? I have said that. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I have said that. But you see, the difference is if you would have said that to me, that's not my response. But maybe she could do that. So that wouldn't be my response. That's something that I don't do. But maybe it's she feels like she can do all that, which, all right, quite surprising. Well, not really surprising. Let me not make it sound.
I'd be really surprised about the martial arts part, but that's not typical.
Even us women should actually, we should actually be more trained in martial arts. Learn how to protect ourselves. Maybe less rape and less I'm not getting into that, but I don't know. She, it's just what you said, and then for her response, for her to say that is all right, you're looking for something what? What are you looking for? What do you need a man to bring to the table? That would have been my response to her. What exactly are you looking for in a man? Like, what do you need that you don't feel like you do for yourself?
Right.
Because, like, for me, I'm like, I need someone that's going to be able to hold me down, because I can hold myself down, but it's different when you actually have a partner that can also hold you down. When we're all guilty of, letting ourselves go, and, letting things go to the wayside, and just wanting to just throw ourselves out and just be done. But if you have someone that will hold your hand when you're down, it's like it will pick you back up. That's great.
Sure.
I can do that sometimes, but not all the time. It's good to have that feeling. I want someone that's gonna cook for me. I don't like cooking all the time, so
I appreciate the honesty.
I need a chef. I need a chef. Someone that has a stable job that's gonna bring more income. I'm sorry, once again, if that sounds gold digger tendencies. There's a struggle out here in this world right now. This war.
This certainly is, but I think that's just being an adult. But to bring it.
But it's always good to have more stability.
Absolutely.
So like, you're not, especially if you have kids or whatever dynamic that you're in.
Those are expensive.
Have that dynamic, or you have someone that you can somewhat rely on. I'm not saying you call them every 10 seconds, like, yo, you need a bill paid. But it's like, God forbid, like, yo, can you spare me $20 because I'm a little short on this Con Ed bill? Like, you know what I mean? It's always good to have that. So my question to her is, what exactly are you looking for? What do you need a man to bring to your table?
And it's interesting that you say that, because that's what my direct response to her when she wrote that too, because I just wrote her again. And she can't see my face when I wrote that, but if she did, it would be like a giant question mark on my face, and like the emoji symbol that has like, the finger on his chin, like real suspect, like, because it's like, huh? And then so,
Mine was laughing my ass off. What exactly do you need a man to do?
Like, if you do everything all by yourself already, then okay. So
what do you need a man for? What life partner you need? Like, you're good. You need somebody to fuck. Maybe that's it.
Probably, but
just
that's
that.
probably exactly. It's just about being honest.
I need someone to break out my back. That's it. So I do everything myself. I cool, shorty. Say less. I can do that.
And that's 100% cool. Just say that. I mean, if maybe, I bumped into women that I feel a little shame about being that way, but it's like, hey, everyone has the itch, and you got to scratch it. So, I mean, is that you scratch it yourself, or you get someone to scratch it with you?
Say it perfectly fine. Like, when a man says, oh, what are you looking for? I'm looking to fuck. Simple. They might be looking for that too, but they don't want to come off as the dog.
Right.
But men are not expecting a woman to say that. So when women are honest, it's like, oh no, she a hoe. She sound like she was messing around with.
I wouldn't even say that.
Like, bro, I could literally be sitting here celibate. I could be sitting here just crossing my legs.
Oh my God! Don't even go there. Don't even go there with the celibate thing.
Get away from me!
I'm looking for someone to get the key.
So, so before, because I don't know why Zoom is doing this, and I feel like punching the laptop, but it's doing this little countdown thing right now with 4 minutes left. So that really sucks, but hopefully I plan to do this again in the summer. So hopefully, yeah, part two. All right, I didn't even get to go over all the points that I wanted to, so goddamn you, Zoom. But again, I just want to say I really appreciate the honesty. There's a couple of things that you mentioned that I wanted to follow up on, so definitely part two. But I obviously, with all my guests, I want them to have the last word. And so with the 3 minutes left, if you want to give yourself a plug, rock and roll and shoot.
Thank you. I'd like to say thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Definitely for part two. Anyone is interested in booking me for any sessions. I do singles, couples, divorce, anything LGBTQ. I love you guys. Anyone I do sex education, sexual guidance, building communication, all that good stuff when it comes to building a strong foundation, strong relationship, strong sexual dynamic. You can find me on Instagram, sensational coaching underscore SLR. Once again, sensational coaching underscore SLR. My personal is Lady Vanilla Bean Frat, 2 P's, just like the drink at Starbucks. I do free consultation, free 15-minute consultation, and let's work, let's do business. Let me help you release the sexual demons.
Well, Tony, it's been freaking awesome. I appreciate it, and thanks for bringing that honesty that I've been looking for. So, it's been great.
Thank you.
So you have a good night, and we'll talk again hopefully in the summer.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Rock and roll. Take care.
Bye.
Damn, why Zoom gotta be like this? Hopefully they don't stop me from hopefully Zoom doesn't stop me from using the app ever again, but they didn't say that in the first two with Terry and Mike. Why you gotta Zoom, man? Zoom. What is going on? If you're gonna enforce rules, you gotta be consistent. It's like one of the first hallmark rules of being a leader. Come on, Zoom. So disappointing. That's such a killjoy. I feel like this.
And I call you an insecure, overbearing, psychopathic, dictatorial, egomaniacal, frigid, lunatic asshole!
Yeah, man. Zoom is playing games. Playing games, Zoom. Not cool. But either way, I will do like a follow-up. I will do a follow-up video about that. I will do a follow-up video of all three of my guests. But what I will say too is if you guys are interested in coming on, if you guys have friends that want to come on and show up and have a one-on-one talk about date life and relationship life, or excuse me, date life as a person looking for a serious relationship, definitely reach out to me. I do gotta touch up this video and the last two videos, make it more presentable. But hopefully you guys enjoyed what you saw here. I thought that was excellent. This person really wasn't pulling punches, and I really appreciated that. And I definitely gotta make a follow up with her, make a part 2, because that's a person that isn't gonna lie to a guy and probably use them. So hopefully that's not the case. But till then, I'm just gonna play this sad music because Zoom dropped the bomb on me.